What's up, everybody? Welcome back to what is formerly the Birmingham Sports Podcast. We have some very exciting news. We just announced a rebrand. We're now identified as Magic City Mic'd Up. So I'm Gunnar. I'm here with my boys, Ethan and Russ. What's up, guys?
What's good?
How are you?
And we're going to be discussing some of the hottest topics here in Birmingham, mostly the Legion. So Ethan, let's get it started. Let's get it cracking. Legion played last night, had an impressive 4-0 victory over Miami FC. Miami was obviously struggling before this and sitting at the bottom of their group. But I think this was a much-needed confidence boost for the boys.
Yeah, but Miami game, let's be real, Miami is trash. It's a good solid 4-0 win. Nico and Alex both got a brace. Love to see the big man up from the back, getting up forward, scoring some goals. But yeah, really solid performance, very needed, I was a little bit concerned going in just for the field, actually, turf field. Haven't played on that this year yet. We've only played in a baseball stadium up in Memphis, and then we played North Carolina and Charlotte. So that was a little bit different. You could tell at the beginning of the game
We did play Charleston, aren't they on turf?
I don't believe so.
I think Charleston's grass.
You think so?
I believe they're grass.
Yeah.
I believe they are.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you could see that the early stages of the game, up until pretty much halftime when they scored those 3 goals, they were getting up. They were getting the final third, but they really weren't getting that many shots, in my opinion. They weren't. They were getting 95% of the way there, and then just not converting at the end.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, we saw that in the loss to Charlotte. I mean, guys were getting forward, but then there wasn't that presence in front of goal when, trying to finish. And I think I would say the first 20 minutes or so before we got that first goal from Nico, we were slow. We were connected. Like, we were playing good, like, passing game and all that stuff. Like, we're great at maintaining possession, but I feel like lately we had been really, really lousy in front of goal, whether that's, finishing or creating actual chances. So I'm glad to see us finally have a game that, reminded us of what we saw earlier in the season, really early, and put away 4 goals. So gives us some much needed confidence, like I said earlier.
I was at work, so I didn't really get to see a whole lot of the game, but it seemed like every single time I turned around, because we did have it on TVs at work, it seemed like every single time I would get a chance to actually watch the game, what y'all both saying, we'd hold possession pretty well, we'd be moving really well, but the second we got anywhere close to the box, everything would kind of just fall apart. And I don't want to say it reminded me of last season with our issues in front of goal, but it brought back memories of that.
Yeah, I think the number one thing for me was how impressive it was for Cronali, as in Alex Cronali, of course, to double his goal total for the season. I wasn't expecting it at all out of a defender, out of a center back like him, but that dude is a menace in the air. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys think the same, but I mean, just how important it is for him to get up on, set piece plays and corners. I think moving forward, we should really try and target him in the box, because, I mean, I think with guys like Lapa and Brett, obviously they score by just pure skill, speed, and finessing guys. But to have somebody who can head the ball like that, I want to say JJ can too. At least last year he really showed glimpses, and now that we have him back, I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I think that it was a pleasant surprise to see him as a defender, having that impact and bagging 2 goals.
And speaking of JJ, and free kicks, you remember, was it preseason in Guatemala?
Yeah.
He had that banger of a free kick.
He
So
did.
if we get in a position like that, you would think it'd be usually Lapa. It might still be Lapa, but now that we have JJ, it could very well be JJ, which that's an interesting piece because JJ, brings that physicality, but he also brings those dangerous free kicks in the box. And he could easily link it up with Alex, or he could join Alex in the box. And basically a double whammy in the box with Lapa or Kasim spitting it in.
It's impossible to say, okay, we're going to get at least 4 chances to go and have a shot on goal from set piece at least. But I think that we could we could mix it up and have some of those plays where Cromwell and Lapa are standing over the ball, because I think that really throws off the defense when you have Cromwell either dummying and then going past the ball, or at least setting the ball so people expect him to take it, and then Lapa swings it, bends it in, and then, because I don't remember if that was also a Cronali goal, that I think it was a headed goal. I don't remember who we were playing. It was at home though.
Tampa Bay. No, maybe.
It might have been Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was Tampa Bay.
When we did that same thing, and Cromwell dummied it, and then Lapa swung it in, and it was a perfect header, and he was wide open in the box. Maybe it wasn't a header. I'm thinking it was a header for some reason. But
it was
he might have taken
it was
it
a
down.
goal. It was a goal.
And it was so tricky and well done. Like plays like that, in positions like that from the wing, and then mix it up with JJ having a powerful strike on goal from a set piece. I think that we should mix it up like that.
Yeah, and I just pulled up the stats for the Miami game on the Legion FC app. So I mean, these are a lot different to what I thought. So they could be wrong, but these are typically right. But I'm just gonna go through a couple of these stats that just stood out to me.
All right.
Possession, 69% Miami, 31 Birmingham.
It did not seem like that at all.
No.
And I think I'm going to have to assume that's just because we scored 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
And with the attacking play, especially in the first half near the end of that, we were scoring quickly and just back to back to back. So maybe that had something to do with it, even though I think near the end we were just trying to sit back with it. So that is pretty surprising. But
yeah, and then moving on to shots, which before I list the stat, I do want to say the Legion are very impressive this year on their shots, their conversion rate, because they're in the 20s for shots on target in the USL, but they're top 10 in goals.
I do remember
very
that,
impressive.
Yeah.
But shots, Miami and Birmingham both had 10 shots in the game. But the difference is Legion had 7 on target to Miami. Almost said Memphis there. Miami's 2 shots on target. And only 1 save from Movo. Tackles, very less physical than Miami. 17-7 favoring Miami in that category. And then corner kicks, on the opposite end of those again, Miami with 4 and Legion with 3. So honestly, looking at those stats, it didn't even seem like that in the game.
One other thing that stood out to me, and I don't know her name, but the female ref, I think she really did well at letting the game play. Because normally I'm used to seeing us, even with
all the pro refs are so trash.
Exactly. And I mean, we had multiple situations where guys went in, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Johnny Dean with the tackle we had from behind right outside the box.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that's not a red card with some of those awful refs.
I was expecting
he dove in from the back, got none of the ball.
I was fully prepared for a yellow there, 100%. Yeah. And it never came.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Was
so it's to let that play, and then to let out when Nico Brett went down in the box. Mm-hmm. I know Nico's I feel like he kind of flops in the box just to try and draw something.
He's a goal scorer though. That's what he does.
Exactly. Exactly. So you can't complain about that. But I think she did a really good job of actually letting us play, and that was the first game of the year where I thought we didn't get ripped off with any calls.
It was a solid officiated match compared to what we've had. And generally, even not compared to it, I still think it was a very solid officiated
match. And maybe,
match.
like I said, maybe we're just used to seeing
trash,
horribly officiated games.
Not wrong.
An Anderson red card halfway through the second half or whatever's been happening these last 2 games. But I mean, it was nice to see her let us play on and not just call every single foul, even if something was clearly a foul. She let it play out. Told guys to get back up, and that was good. I think that really helped us out. Yeah,
and moving away from, since we pretty much summed up the Miami game there, but on to more of individual performances this year. One person that stand out, we all should not be surprised about this, Nico Brett. Up to 9 goals now, that's tied for 4th in the championship. Tied for 4th best. So the dude is showing out this year, like we expected, but he's putting in the goals, along with Lapa, who's got 6, tied 12th in the championship.
As a rookie, too.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. He's if not leading, very well in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, would not surprise me at all. He's had a really, really solid season. He came in, and to be real, I wasn't expecting much at all out of him. And for the games where he scored 2 goals and then has been putting up a ton of assists, it's exceeded my expectations for sure.
Yeah, and he's also 9th in the championship for assist. And another guy who I remember saying this in the Mikey interview, that debut, I believe the first match day of the year, that I just had a gut feeling about Johnny Dean. and he showed out, tied 4th in the championship for assist with 5. That dude's been balling out.
He has. He's so fast, and I mean, for a guy like him who plays on the wing, I don't know if it's really something we were missing last year, but I think it kind of was. And now that we have Lapa coming down the left wing and then Dean on the right, I think that with our speed outside, I mean that is just such a huge threat. And as long as we're able to swing in a good ball or at least maintain possession with the quickness we have, it's created some really really great attacking chances.
Yeah, and on the staying with the defensive line for a second. It's been really interesting, the Bolu experiment at center back, Almost like, it's kind of funny because I'm a Tottenham fan, but Dyer slotting in a center back with Jose, over, what was it, starting last year, but it's the same exact thing. Dyer was a CDM, Bolu was a CDM, both slot back there. It's gone fairly decent, I'd say, besides that one red card, which really shouldn't have been a red. But I really, really hope that eventually Josh, how do you say his last name? Bauer?
Bauer?
Yeah. Josh Bauer, I really hope. I mean, every match is getting slimmer and slimmer, but I really hope he gets in there to start because then that'll allow Akinyode and Asidu to be in the midfield. Yeah. And let's be real, that's all what we want.
That is the link-up play that pushes us forward, and they're just so solid. It looks like, from what I've seen, I mean, we know that Bolu's one of our best players, easily. Yeah, and his midfield play, his control is so impressive. And with Anderson, too, playing side by side, Anderson's a guy who, despite his height, is one of the strongest players we have over these last 2 years. He's been the strongest player. And his control and pace, the dude can weave through literally anybody. Not like DJ could. We'll be fair to DJ. DJ was the master.
There's a reason Atlanta drafted Anderson.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And I mean, just to see those two side by side, I think that is an insane, probably one of the best midfields in the USL.
I'm still shocked that Nashville didn't keep Akinyode for
I
their MLS club.
I know. That is,
because he definitely had
he
the
belongs.
quality.
Yes, he belongs in the MLS.
As far as defense goes, he and Alex could both go back up and crack MLS rosters, I believe.
Oh, Alex has what is it? He's 7th in the championship for passes at 738. So he's been firing everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, easily could go back up to the MLS. One of the best center backs in the championship. I mean, in the air, passing defensively, he's got the knowledge and everything like that.
The more and more I think about it, we have a really good squad.
We do.
We have some guys that could easily make MLS rosters and have an impact.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. I was looking at this morning before I went to class, and last year our leading score was between Prosper and JJ.
With 6 goals?
Or 7? JJ had 8 and Prosper had 7, I think.
Okay.
It was those two through 34 games.
Wow.
We've played 14 games, and Nico has 9.
He's on a multi-year deal, correct?
I believe so.
I would assume because of his pedigree he would be.
Yes.
I was expecting, ever since the playoff match where Nico had 4 against us.
That hurt.
And I know that was
hurts to this day.
I know it was a rainy night, and I know Van Okel, was a little off.
We'll get to your thoughts on
that. Yeah, we'll get to that later. But ever since that happened, I was expecting a big impact.
We needed a splash signing.
Yeah.
And he was a splash signing.
He's exceeded my expectations. I know I said at the beginning on one of the blogs, I predicted him to have between 10 and 12 goals.
Yes.
So he is right on track, if not ahead, including playoffs, if things go well. And it's a much shorter season.
Oh, yeah.
So,
he's 9 goals, 14 appearances. You can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what is it? Moving over to the left back spot, we're just going to run through the whole team
right.
because we got time to do that. The fullbacks have been an interesting position because you have Dean coming on the scene, okay? And then you also have Russ's favorite, Mikey Lopez, playing left or right, usually, in the back line, and we'll let him talk about that in a second. But you have Cromwell, too, and it actually worked out that Cromwell got hurt. It didn't work out, but, because we have 3 solid outside backs, you can't play 3 outside backs, usually. Right. So, Rozak was out, Mikey shifted over to the left, Dean slots into the right. Well, what it seemed like last game against Miami, which is I believe the first or second game Rozak has been fully back, it seemed like Razak was on the left, Mikey was on the right, and then Dean was on right mid duty, which is very interesting because Mikey could easily do that. But Mikey's been a beast at the right back slot, so it'll be interesting going forward the rest of the year, seeing where those three guys fit in because they're both all starting caliber players. Dean's proven his worth. Razak proved himself since coming over from Ghana last year. Mikey, MLS talent. And Russ is dying to say something about Mikey, so I'm just going to throw it over to him.
He just needs to hit midfield. That's all I want. That's the only piece I have to say is just that.
The thing is, and like, I know you could disagree with this.
Okay.
I feel like he's been our most consistent defender.
100%.
He might
be our most consistent player in the since we've started.
Yeah,
easily.
Like his form has been solid.
And I will give y'all that. He's been phenomenally consistent. He knows what he's there to do.
And you really, maybe Anderson, but Anderson with the red cards thrown in, that takes away from it a little bit. But I mean, Mikey has been our most consistent player because a lot of the other guys, they're not consistent at all.
Yeah,
which hurts us sometimes. But yeah, I think Mikey has just been, and I think it could be him playing in the midfield or on defense. He would still be the most consistent player. Yeah.
I do have one piece that we kind of brushed over earlier that I want to say. I said in the group chat. I'm more confused with something that Sam did, and if we're up 4-0, I feel like we should have put Josh in a little earlier.
Yeah.
He's here to get minutes. That's
when was he subbed in? It was after the 80th minute.
It was like the 82nd minute.
Yeah, he got about 10-ish.
And his entire deal here is to play a season to get minutes. And
think about it, he's not even on a multi-year deal. This is literally...
He's had a one-year contract. He's going to the MLS draft next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we should, from all the hype around him...
He's a rejected top 10 pick.
We need to utilize him, even if that's moving Bolu back up to the midfield to play by Anderson.
Well, I think signing him to let him sit on the bench doesn't help us, doesn't help him.
Right.
There'd be no point in the deal.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, even though we're pretty much, let's be realistic here with the matches we have left, we're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Yes, I don't know if it's statistically sound yet.
North Carolina, we were discussing this earlier North Carolina has to win every single game they have left, just to and that assumes that we're losing both of them, just to catch us.
See, I feel like I would love to see Josh start one of these last two games, just to see what he has, because we haven't... I mean, let's be real. If you're a center back coming on in the last 15 minutes of a game, you don't get that chance to settle in there,
and you're up 4-0.
You know.
And our attackers are tired.
Well, Miami has one quality player, that's for Mario Williams.
Yeah.
He's played great this year, has a bunch of MLS experience.
Subbed off at halftime, too.
Yes.
For what? They made some weird subs at halftime.
They made him come off and then both their fullbacks.
They've made some very interesting choices this year. It's been very strange, the Miami experiment.
They beat Atlanta United in the game before this, and then they made, 4 changes to the starting lineup or something like that?
Yes.
At least 4, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, and is that all on your spiel? I just want to make
That's
sure.
That's about it. I feel like we should be giving if we're up that much, we should be trying giving Josh more minutes.
Yeah, I think Josh deserves more minutes regardless. I mean, he's a proven All-American, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
Stud, absolute stud.
All-American, All-Conference.
I remember catching some of his games in college, and the dude's a beast. There's no reason why he shouldn't get minutes right now, starting minutes, unless there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it is very tricky in that regard to know all the ins and outs at this level.
We don't know.
Yeah.
The reporting is not there.
But I would love to see him start one of these last 2 matches.
Oh, absolutely.
And rounding out the back line / a guy who can play midfield, Jake Roof.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a standout, but has his shaky moments every once in a while.
I don't remember the game he came in, who they were playing. It might have been Charlotte, like one of the earlier games
I
against
remember
Charlotte.
this game, though.
He was shaky for maybe the first 10 minutes and then really settled in and played great defense.
He's not a guy that's going to give you big plays, but he's not going to give up horrendous plays. And
Right.
I like his work ethic. He's one of those guys, just like Dean, when he loses the ball, he puts the burners on and goes and gets it. You know, I've been very impressed with what he's done so quietly. You know, it goes unnoticed, but it's definitely there. He's making an impact. When he comes on, he's not a consistent starter, obviously, but he can make an impact off the bench easily and the occasional start.
I think that's a good way to put it. And I mean, he was solid at IU and Western Michigan, two really probably top 25 teams consistently. So, I mean, with a college experience, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of guys, you know, whoever it is, Lapa or whoever, they did really, really well in college, and it really translates well to the USL. So I think that, you know, finding those guys and incorporating them in the lineup really helps. And, I mean, I think I don't know if it's unfair to Roof to, you know, just save him for the very end and bring him on with, like, a Braxton guy or one of those guys. Like, I think he deserves more after the work he put in earlier.
True, but that just alludes to our depth of this squad and how crazy it is.
I mean, Rudolph wasn't even on the bench last game.
Rudolph hasn't been on the bench in a hot
He
minute.
hasn't? Oh.
We have so many forwards. And now that JJ's back, it's going to be... I mean, when Brian Wright is not starting, I feel like, well, sure, he doesn't give any effort sometimes. And sure, like, but when he's on, the dude can score. And the dude is a stud.
The only thing that really worries about Wright is his temper sometimes. He can be a very fiery guy, and that can lead to car trouble in that.
And it seems like, I don't want to say his attitude is an issue, but you can definitely see when he doesn't get his way on the field, you know? Just take a guy like Johnny Dean whenever he gets up, runs back, sprints back, get the ball. Not all the time I'm saying Brian does this, but when he's looking for the foul or something, he'll literally... look at the ref, or not even look at the ref and just stand there and let the other guys do the work, you know.
I'm going to say that JJ and Brian Wright are probably my two favorite players, just from a fan perspective, but they're also two guys that let bad calls and stuff just get in their head, and then
last year, JJ showed that a lot last year.
Yeah. Like, even JJ in the game yesterday, when he was looking for the call, and was like, he sat on the ground for, like, what, 20 seconds, just sitting, doing nothing, not even getting up.
I mean, there's a limit, like, I get it, you know, a couple times.
Yeah.
But once it becomes so consistent, like it's your instant
where you
reaction,
know what's going to happen.
It almost gets frustrating just watching because you're like, yeah, okay, I know you're tired and crap and you might need a breather or something, but don't stand there and look at the ref for 10 seconds when they're already running.
Just like, you got to let plays go. I mean you're
also,
in the USL too, so it's not like you need to show effort and work your way back to the MLS if that's your goal.
That's what most of them are there for.
Yeah.
They're either young guys who we took him out of college, like Lapa, who's trying to springboard himself into the MLS to get looks from bigger clubs. It's guys that have they're 25, 24, fallen out of the MLS and trying to get back up, like Wright.
Yeah.
Or it's people like Kobayashi who are on the way out.
Legend. Yeah. But we've already touched on Brett. Rudolph, I mean, young guy, hasn't really done much besides the preseason game. But the dude's only 19.
The dude is so young. But, I mean, after he scored against Atlanta United, I was like, I was fully ready for him to be a normal bench player. And
absolutely.
Just be subbed in the 80th minute or whatever, like every game.
I'm perfectly fine, though, with him taking his time to develop.
Yeah.
Because a move over from Ghana at 19, you're not here for a year. You're here for 2 to 3 at least, minimum, especially with Sohn and Heaps. They know what they're doing with bringing him over. Definitely a development project, but that's something they're willing to do. And I'm happy about it because, I mean, you have to think about it. Like, our guys like Lapa's like 23 or something. Just imagine where Rudolph's going to be in 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he could very well be one of the studs of the USL in 4 years.
Sure. And who knows, hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully he just stays with us because, I mean, obviously his potential could be much higher.
I mean, obviously you want more for their career.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, it's nice to have good players in Birmingham.
I mean,
and right now we have great players in Birmingham. So,
I mean, I can name a handful of players that could easily, like, especially like young guys like Lapa, put in 2 or 3 good seasons. Yeah. They could get that chance.
With Bruno, put in 1 good season. Yeah. And don't tell me, like, say he wins Rookie of the Year. Don't tell me he's not going to be a starter in the MLS for even if it's a bad MLS team.
Or at the very least, he'll get a contract with a club.
Yeah,
he'll get a shot,
and hopefully not be treated like J.J. Williams.
Yes,
and be in between Atlanta United and Atlanta United 2 and make 1 appearance in his time. In MLS.
I told you this earlier, but I think J.J. was just a victim of basically managerial issues.
Bad situation.
I think he was I believe he was. I feel like he had to have been like a Frank de Boer signing. And then once de Boer got fired, I don't think the new manager liked him. Because the second the new manager came in, that's when JJ went down to Atlanta too.
I think it's easy to underestimate, and this goes for any level of professional soccer, no matter where you are. It's easy to have a falling out with a new coach.
Easily. Well, it's any sport in general.
Yeah.
There's so many times where a new coach will take over, and then half the roster's gone.
I don't want to have to talk about Ukrainian players. Andrei Yarmolenko with West Ham. Pellegrini was gone. Yarmolenko didn't start at all.
Guarantee you. at least 60% of people have no idea who you're talking about.
And that's okay. He embraces it.
Yeah, I do.
And rounding out the attack, Kasim. Thoughts this year? From me, I'll just go ahead.
Okay.
Thoughts, guys? I'll go ahead.
Yeah. Very season. I love Prosper, one of my favorite players.
Oh, absolutely.
But very season. You know, he was, 7 goals last year?
Yes.
Top scorer permanently on the team last year, not on loan from another club. This year he battled with that injury issue a little bit, kind of sat out. And just, again, I'm going back to the depth. But I will say, the guy's long balls in. I remember it was Charlotte or something. He had a beautiful ball to Nico. This year I feel like for Prosper is kind of one of those. He had a good year last year. This year's kind of like a leveling out year. And then next year he's going to take a big step up again. That's my gut feeling. But this year he's not been bad, but he's not been like a Nico break, you know?
And also, we didn't really hear about the extent of his injury. Same with Cromwell. And I mean, I'm not sure if it's just bad reporting or us not having access to what's going on.
I think it's more their union, because they are work on the union.
Yeah.
They have the USL Players Union hasn't been finalized.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they ever actually formally signed anything. And unions play a lot into like how much we can learn about injuries.
Right.
And that's going back to the Spangenberg injury. He's still injured with the groin. That wasn't disclosed for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and yeah. Anything on Kasim, Rose?
Like you said, it hasn't been a great year for him, but he also hasn't been bad. I can't think of a single USL club he wouldn't start for, which again is saying a lot for a former best player is going to play average and it would still start for every single team in the league. We're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, just the depth on the roster this year is crazy. I know we've mentioned that multiple times.
Well, I think also this year there's a bit of a difference in last year we couldn't score to save our lives for a lot of the season. We struggled with goal scoring a lot. And so I feel like there was more pressure on him last year to try to put those goals in once he got in a little hot streak. This year, we got Nico Brett. We didn't have Chandler. Chandler's in California.
Yep.
We have JJ now. We have Rudolph. We have Lopez playing out of his mind. There's not as much pressure on Prosper to score those goals.
That's a good point.
He can sit back and set things up.
He's really creative and he's very calm in the midfield. He knows when to play in the long balls and he's good at controlling the ball in the midfield.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and moving on to those players in the middle of the park. Midfielders. Just gonna run down the line real quick. Ugarte, I got like 3 words on him. Good season for his role. There we go.
That was more than 3 words.
That was more good for his role. Been solid when he comes on. I mean, what do you expect? It's Ugarte. No disrespect to him.
No disrespect at all. Like
good player.
You can't really have high expectations for a guy like him. But I mean, at the same time,
8 appearances his entire career with us.
And he shows effort. He shows great effort all the time. Like, I will give him credit for that. Like, I mean,
by no means is he bad at what he does.
Right. And I
He's
feel like
merely just an average player.
Nice role player.
And maybe he stuck around because of that reason.
Yes.
Which is good. And hopefully, as long as he keeps showing effort, he continues to stick around.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not bad to have a guy like that on the team.
Guy's 27 too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And he is one of the coaches for the. He's a D-League coach.
Right. So he can do more than play then.
Yes.
And then that's a good thing for sure. I did not know he was 27.
Yeah, he's gonna be 28 in December.
Wow.
But okay, we already went through Akimiote and Lopez. Asidu. Also, Asidu has the most red cards in the USL. Fun fact, at 2.
He sure does.
Lapa, we've already touched on a bunch. Dude's a stud.
We got Braxton.
Yeah.
What do y'all think of Braxton? His 2 appearances.
I mean, kudos to him. 17.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive that he's getting to play and is making appearances, but at the same time, like,
we got a 2-minute, we got a 1-minute appearance.
Yeah, you can't really.
But I mean,
judge that well.
Yeah.
And then we got. Oh, Gunnar, you might have something to say on this. The younger brother of Alex, Eli.
You were feisty today about him.
Yeah. He really let his youth show on that red card. Stupid challenge. Probably one of the worst challenges I've seen. I mean, he's already on a yellow. Maybe he forgot. I don't know.
It did. When his instant reaction, I believe he did forget he was on a yellow.
Yeah.
Because that challenge, even for like a person of that's a rookie, you know, even though he played college, anybody who's a rookie, USL is different than college. Speed of play, all that, physicality. You could see that the challenge he made, he knew he was going to get a yellow for it because it's a yellow card anywhere. So I believe that he genuinely just forgot.
Yeah. And he hasn't had a bad season for us. I was just upset that he could let, or just whatever, if he forgot or whatever. Like, you need to be better than that at this level. And I know he's young, but I mean, still, like, that was just painful to watch.
I mean, I guess in his defense, he is young. That's really been his only major mistake with us this year.
Yeah.
For being as young as he is, just that one. I mean, it was a very dumb mistake.
Does he have a goal?
I don't think so.
Did he score or not? I'm trying to think. Because that might make up for it.
It might.
That might make up for that stupid red card.
But I mean, if that's his only real issue this year, I mean, I can't really complain about that.
I think maybe my expectations for him were higher seeing his brother. But I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
I mean,
to say.
his brother has 35 appearances for the Columbus Crew. I don't think it's fair to compare.
It's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different.
To answer your question, he's got no goals but 2 assists.
Okay.
And he was team of the week on at least 1 week. So
if Crognall, I always say it wrong. If Alex and Nico aren't team of the week, I don't know if this world is round.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that wraps up we still have Cervania and Kobayashi, but I want to touch on one point real quick.
Okay.
Before we move on to those two. So we have all these guys coming out of college. I know we discussed this before. More than likely, they're on 1-year deals. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting because last year we didn't have that much movement. We had quite a few guys retire, but didn't. By movement, I mean go other places.
Mm-hmm. We had some quality players retire though.
Yeah.
Very young in their career, so you never know.
But the likes of Avila went to San Diego.
And he's playing well for him.
Hervo, technically he was on loan for us, but he's still with us.
I forgot about
he went
Hervo.
to San Antonio.
And he's doing well too.
He is.
Yeah, they were the first team to clinch.
Yeah, he's the powerhouse. I wish if one player we could get back, a lot of people say DJ. I'd say Zach. Even though he was never with us, technically I know that hurts your heart, Russ.
Why not both?
Why not both? But you have to think about it. He played center back for us. He played center mid. He's just a general in the middle of that field. But moving back to my point, all these guys coming out of college, 1-year deals, more than likely. It'll be interesting to see if these guys. I would not be surprised if a few of them move on. Maybe they don't. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this. But the movement this offseason, going to other teams, some of our players, I could very well see. Like Lapa, he might get a shout in the MLS. But a guy like Johnny Dean, he could be a starter on more than half these USL championship teams if he ends the season how he did start.
It's such a big dilemma because
I'm not ready for this off season, bro.
when you watch these guys once or twice a week and you learn how they play and become fans of them, you don't want to see them go, but it's like you got to have respect for their career.
Yes.
What they want is probably more than the USL, to be fair.
I do feel like that with the shortened season, some of these rookies may stick around because, I mean, as well as Lava's played, it's hard to sell yourself to an MLS team when you've made 16 appearances in one season. It's a hard sell.
No matter how amazing you can play in some of these games,
especially with how much more they're going to be paying him than we are.
You need that experience.
You have to. It's hard to sell yourself and justify your salary with just 16 appearances.
It's also
or how well you played.
With all the tournaments or I should say the U.S. Open Cup and everything included, making 40 appearances maybe per year around that. It's a lot more difficult to do that than 16. So,
because you could very easily just hit a hot streak for 16 games and that's it.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of players do it.
Look at with the guys we had last year, and I know that was kind of our entire team.
Yes.
Basically finding our form near the end of the year and making that insane run. What was it? 624 minutes scoreless.
Yes.
I want to say you're right on the money.
Yeah. Shout out Van Opel, I guess, for that.
Oh, we'll get there in a second. I kept that last for a reason.
But yeah, I think that was huge. I mean, ever since that happened, I'm like, man, this team has so much potential. With no matter who we're getting, I know that Heaps and Sohn, even though I really disliked Sohn for a while there, when we were bad. maybe he knows. Maybe I think they're proving themselves with this recruiting and
Yes.
bringing in guys of that high caliber status. So it's really, really hopeful to see, especially from Ghana and places
Yes.
like that. Like they have an eye that a lot of USL teams don't.
A lot of USL teams will either look to their MLS affiliate
Yeah.
if they're affiliated, or they'll just look to the local area. You don't always hear a lot about like USL teams going across the sea to go try to like scout players.
Yeah.
That's something that obviously a lot of first level clubs anywhere will do. You don't hear a lot about like second tier clubs going get that far out of their way to do that.
Props to them though, because I think like going to places in Africa like Ghana, sure USL, or I shouldn't even say USL, American soccer in general might not be what a player wants. Like if I'm assuming a player would want more than that because
Yes.
of the talent in America. It's not anything compared to Europe or anywhere else. But
Yeah.
living in America,
Yes.
completely different.
And wasn't that something that I want to say when you interviewed Razak, that was something he harped on a little bit?
Yeah.
Was that everything here was just so much like all the facilities for Birmingham was so much
Facilities, for
nicer
sure.
than his
Yeah.
old club?
I mean, think about it. I remember when I first heard about these guys, like watching highlights or whatever, the fields they play on, the stands. It is absolutely nothing compared to middle schools here.
Well, I mean, also if you look at some of the talent that the U.S. has shipped out lately, I mean, it's because they were talking about this the other night in the game I was watching, and it was the U.S. is really starting to become a springboard
Yeah.
if you want to get to one of those bigger leagues.
Yeah. Especially for
And-
younger guys.
Absolutely.
I think younger guys, they can get that experience here, even if it's with an academy or something, and then, a few MLS appearances here or there.
I mean,
Get scouted.
Granted, I don't have a USL example on me right now, but if you look at MLS, you look at Miguel Almiron, played in Atlanta for 2 years, got to Newcastle. Brian Rodriguez from LAFC, he's in advanced talks with Torino over in Serie A.
Reggie Cannon
Just went over for $3 million to Boa Vista.
Yeah, and that's,
so
Lille's.
is Albert Elise is also following him over there. more
Yeah,
than likely.
Cannon just went to, isn't that Lille's affiliate, basically?
Yes. And then Houston's Albert Elise, 24, he's about to follow him over there.
Yeah, and also big shout out to Gio Reyna. I don't know if he ever appeared for NYCFC, but he was in their youth system.
Yeah. I was just watching that game. Who did Dortmund play? It was like Duisburg or something in like a 5-0 win. And Reyna started.
Yeah,
Pokal.
Yeah.
DFB Pokal.
Jack Harrison scored Leeds' first Premier League goal in 16 years. He was a New York City FC product.
Wow.
Yeah. Alright, moving on. Speaking of young guys, we're actually going to flip the script and go old men. Kobayashi. Honestly, kind of surprised with him this year. He's made a couple starts. Sometimes when he's on the field, he's not noticeable, which is not always a bad thing for a
He's
player.
37, so I mean.
But the dude still has legs. I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised. No complaints with him. He's done his role, just like Najib,
Yeah.
I mean, Najib's come on, like 3 times? He's come on. Ugarte, that's who a good comp is.
Yes.
Come on, do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They don't affect the game a whole lot, but they also don't hurt it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is sometimes what you need.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Kobayashi has really been in a situation that, I mean, maybe he has, but that has actually mattered that much that is like, that was so game-changing or whatever. He's been brought on in times when we need to maintain possession, control the ball.
Or help the young players get level heads.
Yep.
That's really what Ugarte and Kobayashi are kind of, I think their big roles are. Because, I mean, Ugarte is not a whole lot older, but he's 27. He's been a pro for a while. He understands like the mindset behind it.
He was also with Rochester Rhinos.
Yes,
back
and he was
in the day.
also with a Norwegian club, I want to say. He was with
something like that.
he was somewhere in Europe for like 1 season. But I mean, those kind of players can go in there, calm a rookie down, kind of help mellow the situation.
Yeah, and Kobayashi, I've talked to some of the guys, about Kobayashi
Everyone seems to like
over the months. He's got his nickname, the Legend. The vibe that I get with him is everybody loves him. He's not your starting player, but you need those types of players that younger guys look up to them, look up to their work ethic, even if they're not the best 5-star skiller on the field, and they just bring that certain presence, which everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And it's just good to have that. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back next year, but we can talk about that later because we're going to have a long off season. But moving on to one of the younger guys, Jaden Cervania. Holy moly, I was not expecting him to play this much of a role, but the dude has been...
I've been very impressed, and I'm very sad we're going to lose him once he goes to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
If he goes to Wake Forest, I think he will. But
I mean,
you never
I think he
know.
will.
I think it's smart for him to go Wake Forest.
Especially with all that's happened in the world, it's good to get your education.
Yes.
Especially if
right.
you're on a scholarship. But man, I love it. Hey, go to Wake Forest for 4 years, get your degree, come back to Birmingham maybe.
I mean, we might have. I don't know like what all was written in his contract. We might have his discovery rights if he comes back to the league.
Interesting.
We might. I mean, I know a lot of teams when this kind of stuff happens, they'll put a clause in there to where like, if you come back to the league, we get to like first negotiations with you.
It's so tricky because he played for the Dynamo Academy, I believe, and last time I read they had his rights, but that was like right when he came over to the Legion. But the Legion's Dynamo on homegrown. That's so confusing.
I don't know if the way the both leagues work, it gets strange with contracts. I don't know if like there's like separate like USL discovery rights and MLS discovery rights.
Possibly,
depending on what league you enter. I don't quite know
because it's not one body.
It's not one body. They're not. They do have the agreement, but they don't have actual like official.
It's all
partnership.
it's MLS and USL.
Why can't there just be promotion?
USL.
We're still working on USL.
Yeah.
That's still being discussed.
USL 1, was it Championship 1 and 2 is so nice to have.
Yes.
That League 1 is so nice to have now.
We finally have some sort of pyramid to look at and I mean,
Yeah.
at least evaluate.
Sure.
And we know whatever happens in the championship is going to be like, like discovery rights or something.
Yes.
It's going to go through everywhere, especially with the academies popping up and stuff, and we'll talk about that later, at a later date sometime. There's going to be a lot of talent coming out. A lot. Like the MLS, got some solid talent coming out, but the US is touching in so many markets now. Like Oakland was just announced a couple days ago. They're joining next year. I mean, it's just going to be the amount of talent that's just going to surge.
I didn't really start, to be completely real, I didn't really get into following the USL until I became a Legion fan.
Same here.
And I mean, I guess that's just me, not really caring about American soccer. I go to other leagues to watch my soccer. But the play has really exceeded my expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be this good and to have really respectable names. Guys like Dan Kelly that are still around, still scoring, still making impacts in our group and stuff
I'm
like
still
that.
shocked that Dan Kelly hasn't been in MLS.
I know.
He's had. I looked the other day, and he has like 2 appearances for like Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But he is the all-time leading USL scorer.
He's number 1, and Hoffman's what, 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hoffman's 3.
You want to dive into that real quick before you get on the goalies?
I'll just get sad.
Yeah. What's been going on with him in Orange County? Because he hasn't been playing recently, and he hasn't been in the lineup.
He made like 1 appearance like a week ago. And
was that recent?
but it was a late appearance. I think it was like a last 20 minutes. He just kind of came on, just kind of.
He was starting, and then he had a downtime, which very well could have been an injury because you don't have to disclose again. I'm pulling up his stats right now, but I don't believe he has a goal.
He does not have a goal, but he might have some assists.
No assists. 6
Well,
matches
okay.
played. 6 matches played. No
I thought he
goals,
had
no
an assist.
assists.
I thought he had 1 assist.
I thought so.
I thought I watched that on TV. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he does.
Maybe you're a blind gunner.
He's
Yeah.
30 now, though. He just turned 30 last month.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting because I know he's coming back next year. He's under contract. I know that for.
He's got at least 1 more
fact.
year with us.
Um,
I think he has to with how much we promoted him. I think he had to sign a several-year deal with us.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting because JJ, I mean, if JJ performs well this year for us, granted there's not much time.
If we can get him to agree to a new contract with us.
His generation Adidas, I don't see him going back to the MLS at this stage.
Right.
He's definitely going to be in USL unless some miraculous miracle comes around. Birmingham, I feel like he would want to go back to, not only because of familiarity, I can't say that, with the team, but he played for Vestavia. It's home for him.
Yeah.
He was born in Montgomery.
Sure. Birmingham Hammers, obviously.
And I feel like Birmingham would want him back, but just think about that. You take all our forwards now because Brett's got to be on a multi-year deal. Brian Wright, I know for a fact, is on a multi-year deal. Prosper's going to be here next year because he's not an out-and-out striker.
I think Prosper signed a 3-year deal, so I think he has 1 more year with us.
Yeah, so if you think about it, we have in terms of straight strikers, we'd have Brett, Wright, Williams if he comes back, and Hoffman. That's a big mess.
I think Hoffman would just have to accept the fact that he's not going to start. I'm more than okay with. I have no issues with Hoffman.
Me.
He didn't play that great his first season with us, but then he started playing better towards the end, but then he got hurt.
Exactly.
So we'll never know like if he was going to turn around.
What do you have? 4 goals?
Yes, he had 4 goals.
He did have one sweet goal.
Yes.
Against Hartford.
Yeah, 1 goal a week.
Yeah.
Goal of the month, I think.
Pretty sure it was up for goal of the year. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
because it won goal of the month, so it was up for the goal of the year.
Don't know if it was that good.
I have
but-
no issue keeping him for the rest of his contract, but I think he needs to accept that he's just not going to start.
With guys like Brian Wright.
Yes.
What I find it interesting
Brett.
is I don't think the reason why he got shipped out to OC was because of financial reasons at all. You know, I don't think it's because of that.
Yes.
I don't think we're struggling with that.
No.
Well, also, you don't get you still have to pay your player on a loan. to my
Yeah,
understanding.
exactly.
Right.
So
So
it's
that
not
wouldn't really fix
financial at
anything.
all. So it's about playing time. But the interesting thing is, recently it started out like, oh, okay, he's starting, you know.
Yeah.
But recently, if you think about it, he would be in this. He's pretty much in the same position that he'd be in before we got JJ.
Yes.
Now he would just not be playing.
Sure.
You know? But before we got JJ a couple weeks ago, same position. If you think about it, I mean, it's just very interesting.
I was a little surprised to see JJ insert himself into the lineup that quickly. And I know that he already knows the system, and I know he knows the guys, but for him to already be starting over Brian Wright, because
Yes.
as of yesterday it was Williams and Mikko
Yes.
obviously starting, and then Brian Wright coming in the second half. I thought that was a little surprising because, I mean,
Yeah, it's surprising.
you've been with Atlanta, but
I know if as a player, if that happened to me, like when I was still playing, I don't know how I would have taken that.
yeah.
JJ also got the number 9 shirt. I know he's only on loan until the end of the year, but if you think about it,
That's also a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
but I did look through the squad numbers. You have to look at it. 8 is Lapa.
Is there an 11?
11 is Nico now.
Oh, that's right.
10 is Prosper. 12 is who's 12?
What about Avila?
My point is a lot of the number low teens
Yes.
and high single digits, what a striker usually wears, pretty much gone besides 9, so I get in that regard. But it still is interesting
Yes.
because that is, regardless of how you feel about Hoffman and how Hoffman's played, the dude's the premier signing. You
Yes.
can't disregard the fact if his form, his form wasn't the best last year and this year in preseason or whatever,
I mean, you can't forget the impact it's had like in his career.
third leading USL Championship goal scorer of all time.
I think he's still Louisville's all-time scorer.
Very, very interesting to see how it pans out after this season.
But wasn't he the appearances he's had for Orange County? Hasn't he been playing a little bit further back? He's playing more like a midfield role kind of thing.
Yeah, off the
Yes.
left, and I don't know if he's played off the right. I know
I
he's
think I saw him in one game on the right.
because I forgot the name, but OC has a beast of a striker,
Yeah.
and Hoffman's not. He's not dethroning him. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what he does. But okay, now it's time. I know Gunner's been waiting for goalies. We're gonna start out with Spangenberg. Haven't seen him at all this year. Been kind of hurt. That's all I got.
He really
He
cannot
played
say.
well. He played well for us last year. If we haven't seen him once this year, I don't
He
know.
did really well against Pittsburgh too. That last game
He
of the
really
regular
did.
season. So I think it was a 1-0 loss, but
Like
I mean, still he was really
I
solid.
have no issues with him.
Yeah.
He
We just
seem-
don't know enough.
He seems like a good goalie when he's
Yeah.
in, but he's been
Groin
hurt, like, all
injury.
year.
Groin injury.
Always been
injury though. for
always been
goalie.
backup. And he did well. He did well in the U.S. Open Cup when
Yes.
he came in. And
No, he did well during MVO's injury.
Yeah, exactly.
The
So, I
groin
mean-
injury though for a goalie, that's the severity of it. He's been out close to 2-3 months now.
He might have torn something.
If he's done for the season,
I wouldn't surprise
hey,
me.
but we'll go into Ford. We'll save the best for last. But so Ford, apparently we got him at the open trial.
Yes.
And
That surprises me.
I remember going there. I was the only one of us 3 there, and texting in the group chat. Nobody here looks like we would sign them. They're all booty. The only thing I noticed that day was Movo's pants inside socks, which was a look. It was a good look. I will say that.
Should go back to it. Maybe it's good luck for him.
But to be fair to myself, I wasn't really looking at the goalies. They just set up the goalies were on one end. I was on the opposite end.
Sure. I should have tried out.
But you should have. But I mean, what a signing to pull in an open trial guy out of New Mexico State.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Straight up New
The
Mexico.
Lobos?
Lobos. Yeah.
I'm gonna have like 5 people yelling at me now. No. But
We're not going to bring up what was it? New Hampshire University. Is that the mistake?
yeah, sorry about that, Bauer. But Ford, I mean, besides Lop, I mean, there's just so many new guys that impressed me. But Ford, the dude is a beast.
Yeah. We haven't. Obviously, we've seen him in one game.
2.
2 games.
He's made 2 appearances.
Oh
so
yeah,
far.
you're right. Forgot.
He
Van
took
Oekel was injured. We didn't really know he was injured. I was just assuming that he was starting because why not give him a shot? But that first game, his first appearance, his debut. Wish he got the clean sheet. But who's that against?
Charlotte. I went back and watched later, and
Some amazing saves.
he was exactly what y'all were talking
Save of
about.
the Did he get save of the week? No, I think he came runner up and save of the week.
The one he had that was up a header that was upper 90. I don't think Van Oekel comes within a foot of that, and he had that.
I don't know if Van Oekel has the lift to get himself there.
I will say this about Ford, and then we can get on to Movo.
Okay.
Ford,
Hurry it up, please.
he's one of the guys. He's one of the about 3 guys that I like. Him, Johnny, Dean, and Bruno are the 3 guys that I want us, if they're not on multi-deals, sign on multi-deals.
Yeah.
Like, those are my top 3 premier new guys that I want to say. Ford, let's be realistic, Movo doesn't have much time left, and very well could retire in the next few years.
Movo's, 33 now?
Yeah, and Movo's the goalie coach, too, so he's got a house here. He's got young kids.
Keep him as a coach. I'm okay with that.
I would love him as a coach. And then Ford, perfect guy. Granted, we've only seen 2 appearances of him, but if he keeps up that form,
Still unimpressive.
the dude's young, he can move. Gunner, I'm going to send it over to you. Matt Van Oekel talk, let's go.
I'll just start it off by saying if we bring Van Oekel back, if he does retire, if we bring him back as a coach, I hope he doesn't coach the guys to dive and drag their feet basically just on the ground and flail and flop down to the right. The dude needs to get in the air when he's trying to save these shots that are heading to the top corners.
By the way, just to preface, Gunner was a goalie, so he's not just saying
And I'm not
he's
just-
an angry fan. He knows
Yeah.
he understands what to do.
Yeah.
Gunner is very passionate about
He's
Movo.
very passionate.
I have gotten on his case more than any other players, even more than Kasim. When I was on Kasim for just 6 times a game, just drilling it straight into the goalie or missing wide, just one-on-one.
Pure pipe.
Yeah, just one-on-one situations. I don't even know.
You
Van
still
Oekel's
weren't
probably 3
You
times.
still
in.
weren't as mad about that as you are about Matt Van Oekel.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because of his age, but I feel like he's always done that. The dude physically looks like a beast.
Yes.
Like I'm not gonna.
The man does love his meat. If you follow his Instagram
Yeah.
story, meat is his #1 priority in life.
And I can say anything. His beer game's on point.
Yes.
I'll give him that.
Hair game switches up a bunch.
Yeah,
Let's stick with the mohawk.
Yes.
Stick with the mohawk.
Yeah.
At least have something
Or
decent.
the swoop with the gel. That's nice.
the Mikey Lopez
don't
hair
shave it,
dye.
though.
Don't shave it.
That's-
Oh, we what is it?
He plays worse when he shaves it every single time.
Exactly.
We have agreed. I don't know if you guys. I'm not gonna say exactly what it is, but if you remember, don't say exactly what it is because it's a surprise. But remember, the end of the year we got something fun coming. With
Oh.
I totally forgot about that until now. But that's gonna.
When
be
is that
fun.
announcement coming?
After the season's over.
Okay.
After the season's over.
It's something to look forward to.
Yeah. So Movo, he's been solid, but nothing special. I wouldn't say solid, but it could be worse because the dude is tied for 4th in the USL in clean sheets.
I think that's just our team.
Let's
The
see.
defense.
Clean sheets.
He's.
Yeah,
I will give it to
tied
him.
4th.
He has made some impressive one-on-one saves this year, and it's the saves that
30 saves.
The Legion Twitter goes crazy for, and will
Yes.
post "Oh, best goalie in the world, Matt Van Oekel." Okay, yeah, but he's
I do
I'm not gonna
love.
say what I was gonna say.
I love his personality.
love his personality.
Yeah.
Love what he brings to the
Great
table.
with people,
Yeah.
but you can just. It's not like that he's a bad player, but you can tell he's not 23 anymore.
Yeah.
He's not even 27. He's
not even 30.
30. I mean, the guy, I really hope he stays in Birmingham after and takes up a coaching role because I'd love for him to do that. But, that rounds it up for all of our roster. Yeah.
Watch us forget one player and they call us out.
I'm gonna. Okay. So
Double check.
I'm gonna double check that real quick. No, we got everybody.
Better hope so.
Besides Laurent, but I mean, tough break for Laurent.
Real tough break.
Real tough break.
No.
Retire or no?
He might. I mean, if you tear your same ACL twice, that
I know
fast,
it's to
I thought it
come
was-
back from that injury.
Was it the same?
What?
Was it the same ACL?
It's same
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I tore my right MCL twice, and I had a year between tears, and even that was rough
Yeah.
to get back to full strength on that. I can't imagine that ACL, let alone, and then he was rehabbing for like 3 months and then tore it again almost immediately.
Jeez. Okay. 2 games left. I didn't even realize it was 2 games.
Short season.
Crazy. I can't wait till next year.
I can't wait for the playoffs.
I can't wait for the playoffs
Yeah.
either. Home playoff game. Bro, I am going to be on my phone ready for those tickets.
I know.
You gonna go on a preview real quick? I mean, we got, what is it, 9 days away from when we're recording this is North Carolina at home.
Yes.
Gonna be a tough match.
Gonna be tough. And North Carolina, they're gonna be playing with everything they have because I mean
They have to. They
cannot
don't have a
afford to
choice.
lose again.
If they lose one game, they're out.
Yeah.
We should have never let Akeem Ward go.
You're not wrong there.
Akeem. That's the other guy I'd bring back. Akeem. I totally forgot about you, Akeem. I'm sorry. Akeem. We should have never let him go unless there was something that we didn't know.
Unless
But
he-
You wouldn't know, but yeah.
Unless he pulls some more kicks.
That's the hard part about this. Nobody reports to that depth, and we
So a lot of them
can't
can't.
report to. We can't either.
We're doing the best we can with what we know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should win. It's gonna be hard. We need points.
Honestly, right now with what we have, we're trying to obviously stay ahead of Charlotte because
Yes.
we don't want to play Tampa Bay that first round.
Yes.
Because that would be the matchup if Charlotte
we
finishes
play
number one.
Charleston though. If we don't play Tampa Bay, correct? Because it's 1 plays 2, 1 plays.
Yes, exactly.
So we play Charleston.
So let's not play Tampa Bay. Let's finish first and not play
Charleston's
Tampa
much
Bay.
more winnable than
Tampa Bay, especially if it's an away
I
game.
mean,
at
granted,
Tampa Bay.
both teams were in the worst group, as they had two teams was their other opposition.
Sure.
Atlanta's the next closest team. Both of them they have 9 points.
Right.
So I mean,
That's-
You have to think though. Earlier in the season, when we were hitting our strides, we drew with Tampa Bay
Yes.
at their
We
place.
should have won that game.
So we
should
have
have
what
won
it
that game,
takes.
yes.
If we're on our A game, we have what it takes. I mean, I'm not saying that I want to play Tampa over Charleston because I don't.
I won't play Charleston. I don't have a ton of faith in Charleston. We all know how I feel about their goaltender.
I don't either, but watch
Right.
us get beat 4-1 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we also got to beat Memphis away.
I'm expecting.
Memphis just fired their coach though, so I mean,
Memphis is a disaster. The
They're-
season was awful for
yeah.
them, and maybe that's Tim Howard being selfish.
I mean,
and wanting to
watch-
play or something,
I
but,
actually can't understand why in the world he would put himself in.
right over that Michigan State
He's
grad.
he's what, part owner of the team.
Part
He's-
sporting director, part
Yeah,
owner.
Wouldn't it make financial
All of
sense
the
for him
above.
to play the best keeper they have? And it's definitely not him.
Before you
Right.
know it, Tim Howard's gonna be jumping out of a plane before the Legion play with a parachute and Fabletics sign on his
And-
back. You know, just buy my overpriced shorts.
I
yeah.
feel so bad for what was the Memphis coach name? McQueen? Was that his name? It's like Tim McQueen's one of them.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
You have to feel bad for in that scenario because a lot of Memphis's losses this year, I will put directly on Tim Howard. And if you're the coach,
That's
of
your boss.
If you're the coach of Memphis, are you gonna tell him no? You're on the bench. I mean, he's responsible for your job.
Exactly.
So I think that was really just a lose-lose for McQueen.
Maybe he did that, and that's why he got fired. Maybe it was Tim Howard.
that's just a lose-lose.
Well, I mean, you know,
can't-
Tim Howard hadn't been playing.
I definitely don't
Howard's
envy him.
been busy on NBC Premier League on the mornings.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a shiny head.
It is a shiny head. But yeah, basically we should win these last 2 games.
Yes.
Secure
I'm
first
going to
place.
say 4 points out of the last
Yes.
2 games.
I
I think
don't know which order it's going to be in, but definitely 4.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe Memphis played us. I'm not. We played. awful
Memphis does
against
have some
Memphis that
some
last
quality
game.
players, though.
When we tied, I know, and they should have done better.
Yes.
They should have done better. this
Again,
year.
I will put most of their issues on Tim Howard, and I'm not even
Right.
sorry for that.
But they don't really have. I mean, maybe our group is pretty good. I
Yes.
would say that we have.
We have one of the tougher groups.
Yeah, but for Memphis to finish bottom of the table, I think that's underachieving. They should
Yes.
at least be in that third spot.
They should have at least been fighting for this.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree that we had one of the tougher groups because at the beginning of the season, if if you would have told me we had one of the, I do agree now it's tougher, but at the beginning of the season, I'd be like, Birmingham, North Carolina, Charlotte's trash, Memphis is trash, but Charlotte's giving everybody.
I know.
a run.
Charlotte
I
has
would-
been playing out of their mind.
From before the season even started, before we saw any games,
I was like, we were the worst group, probably.
I was firmly backing NCFC finishing top, us
Yes.
finishing second,
Yes.
Charlotte, and then Memphis.
Yes.
I do want to
Or
point
the
out,
bottom switch, but
we played 14 matches. Everybody plays 16.
Yes.
Charlotte's played 12. They're only 5 points behind us. They got 2 games in hand.
Yes.
So technically, they could win out, finish above us, even if we win.
that's why
Even if we
I'm
go-
saying, because
yeah.
when they play NCFC, that's why we need NCFC to win. I do
Oh,
not
I see the game we're playing. I see
Exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
Okay.
Because I don't see NCFC winning out.
Yes.
And even if that happens, we're going to beat Memphis, hopefully, and
We
then we're
should.
going to be able to qualify. But because NCFC still has a lot of games to play.
Yeah,
or at
they-
least 4 or whatever.
They've got 3 in hand on us, 1 on hand against
But
Charlotte.
I mean, that's
and
why we
Memphis.
need, because Charlotte is so close to us, and they're threatening from right behind, and they're 2 games behind us
Yes.
on whatever 4 points it is.
Charlotte play North Carolina, then they play at Miami. Or shoot, no.
That's,
They don't play.
that's-
I don't know if they play at home or away.
That's
but they
not good
play-
for us, though.
Then
I
they
know,
play.
but that's why we need
Memphis.
NCFC to win.
They
My-
play NCFC twice though. Memphis
So,
once
then
and
it,
Miami.
so we
once.
just need them to split.
Let's have them split,
Okay.
because then
They're gonna beat Miami. They should,
Yeah.
unless Mario Williams wants to carry someone else back again.
let's win out.
I hate
That's the
Enzo.
best we can do. I don't even
You
want
know
to
what?
talk about other teams. I hate Enzo too.
Enzo Martinez, I hate that man. I know.
Well,
the,
I mean,
the
even if we
brigade,
win out, Charlotte can still win out over us. Is the issue?
Yeah.
That's the biggest
I know.
struggle there.
the brigade would love me.
But I mean,
saying
our
this.
goal should just be to win
Enzo
out.
Martinez
Because like,
sucks.
do the best we can. Because I mean, if we're not like, what if we lose these next 2 games? Then we're really going to be hurting when Charlotte wins 2 games out of their 4 or whatever it is,
Yes.
and gets the top spot.
The only advantage we'd have then is we'd have a lot more rest time than Charlotte would to get for that first round.
These next 2 weeks are gonna be a headache, a full-on headache.
And we don't even play again until next Wednesday, right?
It was a 10-day break, I think.
Yeah.
So,
No, next Saturday,
Next Saturday. Oh, that's even
September
worse.
26th, because we just played last night, so it's 10 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's at home. You going?
Is on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll be working.
I'm not going.
Oh,
I'm not wasting
is it
my
I'll
time.
go back. I'll go back when the playoffs
It's the
happen.
26th.
Yeah.
I will actually be that.
Oh,
week,
South
I'll be
Alabama.
in Mobile watching UAB. So
Yep.
I'll just
That's
be
gonna be
getting
fun.
back. It'll be very
That's
fun.
fun.
We get to
Yeah.
the new stadium.
Did UAB? Are they 1-1 now? After?
Yes, we are
'Cause of
1-1.
Miami.
That was a very close game.
What was the final score?
And here's my issue with this, since you asked that. Final score was 31-14. And,
Okay.
well, here's the thing. With 5 minutes left in the third, it was 17-14.
Ah.
So it was, for most of the game, UAB did play very competitively. We scored first. Our starting quarterback hurt his shoulder in the third. And then our defense got exposed in the last, 5 minutes of the third.
That's normally how it happens with. I'm not even going to say lesser. I mean, because CUSA is okay. UAB football ever since they've come
We are
back
the
has
winning.
been decent.
We are the winningest team in COSA since we came back. Birmingham has the 4th longest home winning streak in the nation. We're 19-0
yeah.
at Legion Field.
But I
since-
mean, look at UAB though.
yes.
I mean, I don't want to go too deep into this because it's UAB. But I mean, the CUSA. What other teams? Old Dominion. Who
The
else is in
only
there?
other quality team I can even say is it flips between 2 of them. Southern Miss, if they decide to be good, just because
Yeah.
they've had a history of several quality teams.
And bowl games too. Like
Yes.
Southern Miss, I remember
them
over
and
years.
Marshall. Those
Yeah.
are the 2 teams those are the teams we always want to be every year.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going on a bit of UAB rant, but it's still Birmingham, so
You go
it's
there,
fine.
it's fair.
I do go there. UAB does want to leave CUSA, if not next season, the following season.
Do you know for which conference?
We don't. No one has
SEC.
said. No one has said which conference.
I'm not
but
sure.
I personally want to go to the AAC, the American Athletic,
Yeah.
with UCF.
That would be a great
and,
fit.
Protective
SM
Stadium coming in too.
SMU.
That would be a great fit.
That would not only be great for fans because that's a much more fun game to go watch. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's if you can tell a recruit, you get to go play UCF, and they're probably gonna be ranked every year. That's a lot easier.
Beat down on East Carolina by 49.
Go beat down East Carolina, but you get to play at SMU.
Yeah.
SMU's on the upswing
UCF
right now.
UCF would be a fun game. I mean,
Absolutely.
you think about UCF. I know football's completely different right now,
Yes.
but I mean UCF is outside the playoffs
They've
basically
been
every single year.
they've been a very quality team.
Yeah.
And there's no People get mad at that. They've been a good team objectively. I don't care.
World champions going undefeated. Ranked what, like 7th or 8th?
I don't even know.
I mean, they at least beat Auburn, so.
Yeah.
Probably should wrap it up about now. We've been going for a while.
Yeah? About an hour 5?
All right, final thoughts for us. Final thought or thoughts.
Final thought. Can I end on a controversial statement?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, this is going to be a whole other discussion. I'm feeling it.
I think Bruno Laba is going to finish the season with at least 10 goals.
And
So
does
yes,
that,
that-
and does that mean Rookie of the Year?
That I will also throw Rookie of the Year in.
Okay.
But with 10 by finish season, I'm including playoffs.
So 4 more goals.
Yes, but including playoffs.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's fair.
That's
I
not
think
controversial at all.
Well, it is and it isn't.
That's
isn't.
all.
Because Nico Brett is really taking over.
And
but
now JJ is also
JJ's back.
Yeah.
Watch
Brian Wright still might have another 2.
Yes.
Watch Bruno get a hattie next game.
Just goes out and scores 6
Rips
goals.
one from 35.
No, he gets
Kobayashi
a
comes in, 8 goals.
No, he gets a hattie next game and never scores again. Just leave us with 9.
Yeah.
Van Oekel comes. Oh, okay. As
Wow,
much as we
I can't
hate
get on
him,
Van Oekel for that header.
as
The
much as we
assist.
trash on Van Oekel,
The great assist.
the header.
And the celebration after.
How did we not touch on that earlier?
It has been a while since we've
It
talked
has been
about
a
it.
while.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What a game. I don't remember. That was probably the most hype moment of the season.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
it was a draw.
Yeah.
It was literally
We
a
had
draw.
to salvage the head.
I remember me,
I
That was
know.
an desperation play.
me and you, Gunnar, were at the Memphis game, and like we got a penalty late, I believe.
Yeah, Nico Brett scored it.
And we tied, and I looked at you and I said, we're getting way too happy and content.
People just
with-
going crazy around.
I
So
mean,
it's like, yes, be
all
excited
the-
for your team, but like we just drew with Memphis.
It's all the
at home.
it's all the middle-aged women that don't know anything,
Yeah.
and men too. To be fair, it's all the
Yeah,
middle-aged.
it's-
dads and
It's
moms.
literally everyone at Legion games. No offense to our fans. We have great fans for the
We
most part.
just don't know soccer.
They just don't, yeah.
Well, they might know American soccer. They don't know.
Oh, they know.
European.
Yeah, they know long ball, shoot, score.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right, hot take, Gunner.
What's wrong?
Hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take, controversial take. Final
Ooh.
take.
Ford will be the starter in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm calling it now. I
Okay.
think that is.
Okay.
I think that would be a smart move.
Because of
Wait.
injury?
No.
Or just
I think-
don't know. Van Oekel's goalie.
I got a question, a clarification question.
Yeah.
The entire playoffs, or is he just going to start a game in the playoffs? That's where you need to draw your line.
Ooh.
The entire playoff run, or just
You
at
know
least
what?
one game?
You know what? I'll be bold
Okay.
because I really do think Ford's a stud
Yes.
from what I've seen.
Okay.
I think entire playoffs, as
Okay.
long as we're winning, and I think he'll have a good performance
Okay.
if they give him a chance. Which, you know, it's looking like right now, realistically, it's probably 80-20 in favor of Van Oekel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it's like 50-50 just because I think Ford's a stud.
Yes.
Ford is the better goalie. I think Ford is definitely a better goalie. And we saw that with his debut. The dude was making saves that, like I said, Van Oekel would not have been within 2 feet
Maybe
of the
a
ball.
younger Van Oekel, but not current.
Not
Van Oekel.
current Van Oekel. And Van Oekel, yes, Van Oekel, you make some great one-on-one saves that look great for social media and, you know, and broadcasting those on wherever to give our brand a good name.
He does make some very baffling decisions, though.
The whiff. It wasn't as bad as Miami's, but remember a few games ago, Van Oekel's whiff?
Mm-hmm.
I remember just watching that and laughing. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. That is not professional quality.
Yeah. Alright.
All right, what's your statement, Ethan?
So
You
I
started
got
this.
kind of like
Birmingham's going to have an NBA team in 2022.
I kind of have 2 things. Okay.
Okay.
First off, Bruno gonna finish on a high. I don't know if it's gonna be 4 goals, but he's gonna
you
finish
can't
on
just
a high.
steal what Russ.
No.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I'm saying
I trademarked that.
he's going to end on a high, but he's gonna be in Birmingham next season.
Ooh,
It's
And
not that controversial.
yeah,
I think
hot
it
take.
is.
I don't think it is.
Birmingham-
He needs another season before he tries to go to MLS club.
Here's my.
It is
hot,
a shorter season,
Yeah,
so
that's
Alright.
my that's my
experience
only
could be-
hold up there.
And he's just out of college, so I
Yes.
mean that would make sense.
hot take.
Okay.
Birmingham gets bounced 2 games in.
Why would you say that?
Within 2 games,
You're a
Birmingham
monster.
gets bounced from the playoffs.
By who? Tell me the club.
I don't know.
No, you didn't
Well,
finish
no.
this.
You have to think after the first game.
Yes.
Then it goes to like a bracket, but it depends on.
No, commit to your
Would we
decision.
not get an automatic bye if we finish first in that group?
No, you don't- there's-
we play Charleston.
There's no
remember?
automatic bye
It's
there.
so it goes 1-2 in groups, and then you go into the standard bracket. So I say we either get bounced in the group game, like
the first game or the second game?
one of the first two. So either the first bracket game or the first like
Second game maybe if we're playing like poorly, which we've kind of done occasionally.
Yeah.
We really have just been bad in front of goal and bad moving forward on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if that's even a hot take. I think I will be happy if we have 2 victories in the playoffs.
I was about to say we get bounced in the first, but it's looking like Charleston will
let's hope
hold
it's
that.
Charleston.
So I feel
I
like
don't want to play Tampa Bay.
I feel like if it was Tampa Bay,
Charleston.
I'd be confident saying we get bounced first round.
Right.
But since it's Charleston, I feel like we should handle it very.
We should, especially with their goaltender. I really can't stand Charleston's goaltender.
Yeah.
Where did he go to college?
UAB.
That's what I thought. What's his name again?
Joe Kuzminski. That's
That
why
dude,
I got so
the
upset.
most annoying.
Wait, was he there last year?
Yeah, that's why I
No,
got.
he got shipped over to Israel.
Yeah, but
Right?
he has to ship mid-season after he played us. Because he kicked J.J. Williams in the ribs.
Yeah, nerd.
While J.J. was on the ground.
Nerd.
Because I was in the party deck behind goal screaming at Joe. Because as someone who went to UAB, I was very upset because that makes the entire school look bad.
Yeah.
And then my
'Cause
dad
it wasn't-
comes down after.
It wasn't anything like accidental. Like you could tell, he just went back and kicked out and got shipped out to Israel for a season. Didn't make a single appearance. Maybe like a cup game. But I looked on his stat list. He made no league appearances for. I'm not even gonna try to remember the name of the club because I don't.
Let's be real.
They're
They're
in Europa League qualifiers this year, so they missed out on that.
Not Maccabee.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Maccabee Tel Aviv?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Wait, it's Maccabee something, and they are in Europa League. I know that because when you go.
I know. I think Tel Aviv's in.
Because when you go on Wikipedia, like it saves like your last click as like a dark purple.
We gotta look this up.
We are
now.
doing so. Also,
It says Charleston Battery.
no, he came back.
Oh, okay.
His
Oh,
loan
he
ended.
came back?
No,
It's
because he was on
Maccabi
loan.
Haifa.
Yes, they are in Champions League or Europa League right now.
I thought he got shipped out. I didn't know he was on
No,
loan.
he was loaned. It was a season loan. He got loaned mid-season last year. He
Ooh,
came back.
This is spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at
I've already
least-
marked the time slot, so I'm gonna look at
Yeah.
where if they're in Europe somewhere right now in
At
like
least he didn't
qualifiers.
almost get blown out by Lokomotiv Plovdiv or where
Club Div.
Bro, no, it was 1-0 to
Yeah,
them.
and then y'all needed 2 red cards to survive.
Yeah. But alright. Final thoughts are all in. Some hot takes, some not. It's pretty much it. It was a good, solid episode 13 of the new rebranded Magic City Mic'd Up. More fun on the way. More like podcasts are going to be more consistent again. We did take a while.
It was,
Tough
it
with
was a
school.
hot minute.
School was starting up.
Yeah, but we got exciting stuff on the way coming. If you're still listening, we appreciate it.
Appreciate all y'all.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's pretty much it for episode 13, and we'll be back probably right before playoffs. You say
Yeah,
somewhere
that
around
sounds
there.
right. Yeah,
for sure.
So sweet. See y'all in episode 14.
See ya.
See ya.